West Ham take on Luton, the first game for Luton in the Premier League at Kenilworth Road. And it typically, as usual, it has to be West Ham United. This is the big match preview. How you doing, Rye?
Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. A bit like last season, isn't it? Nottingham Forest, first home game of the season in the Premier League. Enter West Ham, and you know what usually happens. But let's hope that we're a totally different side this season, going into these sort of games. And yeah, it's gonna be a tough fixture, mate. But I'm looking forward to it. Friday night football, and West Ham are on it for a change.
I know. I don't. If memory serves, though, we don't have the best of luck in Friday night games.
I, can't,
So,
I remember we played Brighton and we lost 3-0 at home. I think it was. I can't remember the other one.
played. I think we got battered by City. I think on a Friday night.
Oh, we get battered by City on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, mate. but
That's it, mate. But all positives around the club at the moment, aren't there? We're looking fantastic win at the weekend away to Brighton. I think we were all shocked by that result. But the performance, especially by Areola, I thought he was absolutely superb at the weekend. But we seem to be on a high. Beating Chelsea, beating Brighton. The club we haven't beaten since they've been back in the Premier League. Signing players left, right, and centre at the moment. Full of positivity around the club at the moment.
yeah, it's good, mate. It's always good when there's positive vibes around your football club. And as you said, well, as I said the other day, still unbeaten since Prague. The Invincibles is on. Um, no, look, it's been a great start to the season. 7 points out of 10. I'll be honest, not many people probably see that coming at the beginning of the
No.
season because there was a lot of negativity a few weeks ago, and rightly so because there was no signings. We had the Premier League was starting, but look, 7 points out of 10. The players we've brought in so far. We just completed the deal for Kudas the other day, which is a brilliant signing. I'm excited to see him play. I'm excited to see him pull on that West Ham shirt. So yeah, look, the only way is up at the moment, and for a few hours we was top of the league, and it felt nice. So I'm not going to lie, European champions and top of the league. I'm going to milk that. Um, but yeah, no, look, it's been a great start to the season, but these are the sort of games where it'll be a real test for West Ham because it can show how far we've come as a team and as a group that we can get through games like this. Because on paper, look, we are the better team. We've got the better players, but football's played on grass and not paper. And the Kenilworth Road is going to be packed. It's a small ground. It's a tight pitch. Their fans are going to be up for it. Their fans have been waiting for this day for a very long time. Their first home fixture in the Premier League. So yeah, it's a lot of buzz around us at the moment. I'm sure Luton are going to be buzzing as well.
Well, that's it. They've had two batterings when you look at it. But they have played a Brighton side who we know are a very good side, and Chelsea. Funny enough, the two teams that we've beaten and scoreline wise beaten quite comfortably. But I think they got that win in the Carabao Cup against Gillingham, so that's their first win of the season. That was at home, so that's going to take a little bit of the pressure off. The players and looking for that first win of the season. They're going to be looking to carry that momentum into the fixture. So they're going to probably take, even though league-wise they're not great, but they're going to be taking that confidence from that first win. And like you said, mate, first game at home, under the lights, a Friday night, live on the telly, they're going to be well up for this. And we need to be very, very careful we don't get caught out. We can't go into this game overconfident.
Yeah, this has got banana skin for us written all over it. We've supported West Ham long enough to know that these are the sort of games where we do slip up. We're on such a high at the moment, but come 10 o'clock Friday night, we could all be upset where we've just lost at Luton. But yeah, look, I mean, I've watched Luton in their first two games, and I think they was very unlucky against Brighton first game of the season. They was in it up until like the last 10 minutes, and Brighton ended up winning it 4-1. And last week against Chelsea, I think that Chelsea sort of took their frustrations out on Luton, what they couldn't do against us, because they was very frustrated against us. And unfortunately, Luton were on the end of it. But I think with Luton this season, I think it's going to be a bit like Nottingham Forest last season. They're going to get most of their points at home this year. They're going to, because away from home they're going to be open and exposed, and they might get a couple of points, few points on the road, but Kenilworth Road is where they want to pick up most of their points. And no
Yeah.
team is going to look forward to going there because of the size of the pitch, the stadium,
Hmm.
how tight it is. It's like a real old fashioned throwback ground, and it's
Yeah.
nice to
Yeah.
see a ground like that in the Premier League. So
Definitely, mate.
I'm
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to it, mate. And as I said though, we've supported West Ham long enough to know that these are the games where we can slip up.
As well, when you look at their side, there's a few ex West Ham players in there. Obviously, Dan Potts will be missing for this one; he's injured for them. But they've got Reece Burke, they've got Pelly Ruddock playing for them, who are probably going to have a bit of a point to prove against their former clubs. So, as you look, you touched it, mate, it is a massive potential banana scheme. But for me, I think this is Moyes' toughest test this season. Yeah, and my reasoning behind that is that against Bournemouth, it was we dropped the ball there a little bit. We should have seen that game out. We should have won that game. But the defensive performances against Brighton and against Chelsea were stupendous. But now we're going to go to a Luton side that are probably going to look for us to be the team in possession, the team on the ball. And they're probably going to want to look to catch us on the break. They play they like three at the back. They try to play a 3-5-2, a 5-3-2 defensively. I think they were 5-3-2 against Chelsea, 3-5-2 against Brighton. I think they even played a 3-4-3 against Gillingham. So they like the three at the back. And I've just got this feeling they're going to try and be compact and try and get us to break them down. Now, this is why I think it's a bit of a tough test for Moyes, because they're not a side that's going to want the possession of the ball, if you get what I mean.
Yeah,
So how we set
I
up.
totally agree, mate. I was thinking of this earlier. The first three games of the season, especially Chelsea and Brighton, we knew we weren't going to have a lot of possession. Last
Mm,
week at Brighton, we had 22% of the ball. But we ended up winning 3-1.
yeah.
You know, so this is a game where I think we are going to have a lot of possession. I think we're going to have to
Mm,
try to break them down, and I think that it's a good thing for us in a way because it gives our players like Paqueta, James Ward-Prowse, Ben Rama, Bowen, it gives them more time on the ball now to try to break. But if Antonio starts up top, on his own against a back three, it's about getting the support up with him, and whether
mm.
that support comes from Bowen out wide, Ben Rama out wide, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, you know, I'm actually looking forward to it because the first three games of the season, you know, we've done the job that we've had to do. We was unlucky against
Yeah.
Bournemouth, and another day we would have had 10 points instead of 7. We'd have beat Bournemouth, but from what I've seen now, we're set up against Chelsea and Brighton. Is that I think we're going to do this a lot this season against the top teams. Is fight them
Hmm.
on, frustrate them, then hit them on the counter. But
Yeah.
teams against Luton, they're going to be trying to do that against us. So if we both do it, the ball would just be sitting in the middle of the field with no one touching it. So we've
Exactly.
got to now go
Exactly.
and attack them and break them down. And it could be a good test for us just before the international break as well. So
Hmm.
it'd be good to go into that international break on sitting joint top or whatever, 10 points. And I think it'd be a brilliant start of the season. But it's going to be an interesting game how we set up. And I agree,
Mm.
mate. I think this could be Moyes' toughest test so far this season.
Yeah. I just think it is, because I think it is that different style that we're going to approach. But the plus side is, when I look at it, you look at Antonio's in good form. Bowen's on, the goal Bowen scored at the weekend against Brighton. I think if that was a player playing in a Manchester United, a Man City, that goal would have been more hyped up than it was. The touch, the control, and the finish were all on point. And I don't think he's getting enough recognition for that
The,
quality of goal that it was. The ball from Ben
yeah,
Rama
the thing is, Scott,
was
Mo
perfect.
Salah scored a similar goal like that last season, a very similar
Mm,
goal. And I'll be honest, I was there at the game and I see it obviously in real time, but when you're there, you don't really take it all in. But when I watched the
mm,
replay back, I mean, from back to front, Antonio winning the ball, great ball to Ben Rama. I remember when Ben Rama got it, he slowed the ball down and everyone was proper slating him in the stand. Going,
yeah,
go for it, go for it.
yeah,
But he knew exactly what he was doing. He was holding it up, waiting for that run. And honestly, that Bowen goal for me, that could, it's going to take a lot to beat that for goal of the season.
Hmm.
And me and Nicky
I'm.
had this sort of we was having a little debate in the car going up because we was talking. I was saying that on paper, I personally think that Bowen is our best player, all round player in our squad. Like Paqueta, yeah, skill wise, but as an all round
Mm,
player, I think Bowen is our best player. And look,
yeah.
obviously we've got Kudus coming in. I haven't seen him play in the West Ham shirt yet, but for what Bowen does, as you said, he goes very much under the radar and he doesn't get the
Mm,
recognition he deserves. Because if he was playing for a Liverpool, a City, a Man United, they'll be raving over him. And
yeah.
and do you know what? I like it that he goes under the radar. He just gets on with his job and he scores some crucial goals for us. You know,
Hmm.
one that'll go down in our history when he scored that winning goal in the European final.
Yeah.
But that goal last week, the ball from Ben Rama and the touch, as you said, the two touch and the finish was world class. That was a world class
Mm.
goal.
It was. 100%, mate. 100%. As I said, I just don't think he's getting the recognition that it
And what
deserves.
you
But
said about
it's
and what you said about Antonio as well. I think Antonio at the moment he's playing with a smile on his face. He's training
yeah,
with a smile. Whether he knows he's going to Saudi Arabia in 2 days' time. But no, look, he seems to be enjoying his football again. And as I said, when Antonio's in that form, yes, he's lost a few yards of pace over the last couple of years, but he's still a good football player when it
hmm,
comes to not many can do what he does, knocking people off the ball, knocking defenders off the ball. That goal he
yeah,
scored the other day, dropped a
yeah.
shoulder, turned a defender, far corner. It's a great finish. So
That's it. And that's a Brighton defender that is in good form himself. The Brighton back line have been really, really well drilled and play really well. So I said, even the goal he got against Chelsea, again, a good finish. And like you said, whether he's got other things on his mind and that's why he's so happy, I don't think he's a guy. Because to be honest, as much as um, during the summer we were saying, oh, if he's got a bad attitude, he needs to go out the door. We would be crazy to sell him now.
yeah, I don't think we will. Not now. It's too late in the window.
Yeah.
Um, Look, they'll probably revisit it in January. But
Mm,
at the moment, Antonio, I think it'd be a massive loss if we let him go because I think the way he started the season, we know this with Antonio. When he gets in a run of form, he carries that on, and when he's
yeah,
playing on with a smile on his face and he's enjoying his football, he's a handful for anyone. So
yeah,
I think it would be
definitely.
crazy to let him go. But yeah, I mean, as you mentioned it earlier, Scott, I thought Areola was brilliant against
Yeah.
Brighton. Some of the saves, I mean, I watched a highlight video that the club put up, and some of them
Mhm.
saves were unreal. Yeah, look, he made a couple of mistakes and he nearly dropped it into his own net, but he's just getting a run of Premier. He's never had this run in the Premier League under West Ham.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
now we're starting to see why we signed him when we got him on a
Mhm.
permanent deal, and he was unreal. And some of them saves, Brighton could have had five or six on another day,
Yeah.
but
That's for me, the only negative I'm gonna take from that game, I'm not bothered about the possession because it's one of them things. You can have the ball all day long. If you don't do the right things with the ball, you're not going to win a football match. And we've seen that in the last two fixtures. We haven't had a lot of ball, but we've seen. The only thing that does worry me is the amount of chances that we gave Brighton. And because there will come a time when Ariola's not going to have that brilliant performance. Them strikers are not going to miss them chances. That is the only thing I think we need to work on is reducing the amount of shots we concede in good positions. If you get what I mean, if they belt one in from 30 odd yards out, there's not much you can do about it. But the ones that are in and around the box that force them good saves from Ariola, I think that's what we've got to concentrate on, sort of nullifying that. And overall, it was a decent defensive performance. Look, credit to Ogbonna as well. I've got to say that. But that's the only little
no,
thing that worries
I
me,
totally
really.
agree, mate. If we was playing like against the Man City, Haaland would have had a hat trick. You know, you
Mm,
can't keep inviting teams on because one day they will destroy you. They will
yeah,
score goals, and it won't always go our way. Yeah, we was lucky. We got a few good block tackles in. Ariola had a weldy. But look, it's been a great start to the season.
Yeah,
I've been
of
impressed.
course
I
it
mean,
has.
this time last year we was bottom with no points. You know, so
Exactly.
it's been a great
Oh,
start to the season. Two wins against two teams that we usually struggle against. I mean, we have usually get a good result against Chelsea at London Stadium, but Brighton, that was our first win in 13 against them in the Premier League. So it
hmm,
was lucky 13 for
yeah,
us, unlucky 13 for them. I'll tell you what, it was funny. As we
exactly.
was leaving the ground, as we was walking back to the car, this Brighton fan walked past us and he went, "Oh, just to let you know, there's two parked buses down there," like basically saying we parked the bus. And I turned around and said to him, "Oh, that's all right, mate. We used the first one for our 3 points and the second one for our European trophy to take home. See you later." And he didn't know what to say. He didn't know what to say. But look,
That's it, though, mate. Like Moyes in his press conference when he come out with they can take the ball home if they won, I'll have the 3 points.
that's all that
That's all
matters.
what it's
That's all
about.
that matters, mate. You can show me all the
Exactly.
stats you want. All I worry about is a stat in the top corner with a score. You know, we're not a team that are going to entertain. You know, like a Man City, a Liverpool. You know, we're not like that, but we can be. We've got the players,
Yeah,
but we just,
yeah.
it's just the way we set up. But yeah, look,
That's it. I think we need to see that tomorrow night. The entertaining side. I think we need to take the game to Luton. But with looking the system that they play with either the three at the back or the five at the back, what are you going for your what you'd like to see as a starting lineup?
yeah, obviously Thomas Suchek misses out this week, I think, because of
Yeah,
concussion injury.
yeah, concussion.
But yeah, I've gone for a similar lineup to last week. Really, not much changed. I've brought Aguerd back in for Ogbonna. People may
Yep.
think that's a bit harsh, but yes, Ogbonna had a brilliant game. But I think Aguerd needs to come back in. Um, as I said, this is the last game before international break, so
Hmm.
that's what my thinking was with that. So I've gone for Ariel in goal, Soufal right back, Zuma and Aguerd in the centre, and Emerson left back. In front of them,
Yep.
I've gone Alvarez in front of them with Paqueta and Ward-Prowse. And then I've got
Hmm.
Bowen out on the right, Ben Rama out on the left, and Appy Antonio up top. So, look, I could have I wanted to thinking to myself, oh, could I start Kudas? Should he start? I think, I don't think he'll start. I think I'd start with that team just because he's a bit more relaxed. I
Hmm.
think Kudas coming into Luton away might be a bit too much for him. I think they'll be targeting him quickly. So I think,
Hmm.
yeah, I'd like to see that team. I think there's a good balance in that team, especially in that midfield. The midfield three of Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, and Alvarez just sitting behind them. It worked well last week against Brighton. So, yeah, no, I'd like to see that. But look, David Moyes is one of these managers that he ain't afraid to chuck players in. Remember when we signed Jesse Lingard? He was straight in the team. So
Yep.
if
Yeah.
Kudas does start on Friday, it wouldn't surprise me. As
Mm.
a new signing, yeah, of course I want to see him start, but I'm going to go with that lineup. So basically, Aguerd coming in for Ogbonna and Ben Rama coming in for Suchek for me.
Mate, I've picked exactly the same team, so I'm with you on that. I'm with you with it with the Kudus thing. Whether it could be, look, he scored an hat trick for Ajax in his last game, so he's probably buzzing on a high from that. He's just got to move to the Premier League, but I think if this game is going to be, we've got to take the game to Luton and we've got to break Luton down. Having a player of his quality who is on a high coming off the bench, I think could work in our favour if the game's not going our way,
even even if it
But
is going our way, 20 minutes to go, bring him on.
oh yeah,
You know,
yeah,
he's going to be, as you said, he's going to be on a high. He's going to want to get on that pitch. He's going. I mean, I watched his interview he done with the official West Ham channel the other day. It's a brilliant
mm,
interview, and one thing that he said was, "I want to work hard for the team, but I want to excite the fans." And I think
there
this
you
is a
go.
player that we've been crying out for a very long time. You know,
Yeah,
we tried to sign someone like that a few years ago in Felipe Anderson, didn't work out. Kudas for me looks like he's got the complete package, and I think he's gonna once he gets settled into this team. And you
yeah,
like say for instance, if I took Ben Rama out of that team and put Kudas out on the left, you're talking about Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, Kudas, and Bowen with Antonio up top. You know,
yeah.
that's a team now that if that gets settled and can get a run of games together, we're going to be at the right end of the table this season without a doubt.
Definitely, mate. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. So, before we wrap it up, what are you thinking for your score predictions?
Um, I'll be honest. I don't want to be overconfident, but I am
Hmm.
confident. I think we will win. Um, I'm going to go for the same scoreline as Brighton. I think we're going to win 3-1. I think this could even be a game where we might see Luton maybe go 1-0 up. But I think once we settle, once we start
Yeah.
knocking the ball about, I think that look, I don't want to take anything away from Luton because they're on such a high at the moment as a football club. You know,
Mm.
they've just been promoted. They're in the big time now. Their fans have been crying out for this day for a very long time. And win, lose, or draw for them on Friday, it's going to be memorable, for a lot of them
Yeah.
because I don't think they'll stay up. I do think they'll go down. But yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham. I think if we set up like that and we get players like Paqueta on the ball, Ben Rama on the ball, Bowen running at them, I think we'll get a victory. So I'm going to go 3-1 West Ham.
Yeah, no, mate. I'm with you a bit. I think Luton will score. I think the occasion will drive them on and give them that extra bounce, and I think they will score. I'm like you. I've got a feeling they're gonna go 1-0 up, and we're gonna have to really go for it to get a thing. But I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win West Ham. I know I don't often back us to lose, so I'm going 2-1 win West Ham. I think it'll be a good game, and like you said, it's good to see a side like Luton back in the top flight of football. So I hope that they get their season going. I just hope it ain't on Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at it, I mean, there's a some of the players in our squad have probably not ever played in a
Hmm.
stadium that size and been in stadiums where it's so tight because this is like an old school football ground,
Yeah, yeah,
bit like what Upton Park was in the 80s,
yeah,
early 90s. You know what I mean? It's tight. The fans are on top of you, so the occasion could get to our players, but I think
mm,
we're experienced enough in that team to with someone like Alvarez who will try to break up the play. I've been so impressed with him in his first two
yeah,
appearances for West Ham, especially last week. I don't know if they showed it in the highlights, but there was a bit where he got it in the box, in our own 6-yard box, and he
yeah,
literally just turned two players and just walked it out. And
yeah,
I don't see players like do that for us. Usually that'll end up in the back of our net. But someone
yeah,
like him with his confidence, his experience, you know, these are players that we've been probably crying out for. And I said it on Friday Night Pint. I love Declan Rice. I loved him, what he'd done for the
hmm,
football club. But I think the best thing for us was probably selling him because, we always know he wanted to leave the football club. But what we've gone out and bought with the money from the Declan Rice money, Alvarez, Ward-Prowse, and Kudas, is
yeah,
unbelievable business, and it's some of the best business I've seen for a long time. And I've seen a lot of
hmm,
other fans of football clubs applauding that business because
yeah,
Kudas was linked, and I think Chelsea come in for him last minute, you know,
yeah.
and he said
And
he's
you
already
turn them
give West
down.
Ham his word. So yeah, yeah, it's going to be a good game, mate. Friday night football. As I said, we can get all our work because it's a busy day for us on Friday. Europa League draw, transfer window shuts. Friday night football. So let's hope that we can get everything. Everything goes our way on Friday. We get a couple of good signings in. I think ex-employee tweeted out that he's looking for there's going to be an exciting twist to the transfer window. There will be obviously players leaving the club.
Mm.
Rumoured that Cornet, Fornals, maybe Danny Ings, but I think Danny Ings has already turned around and said he wants to stay and fight for his place at West Ham. And look, if he wants to do that, I'm all for that. I like players that want to stay
Exactly,
and
mate.
fight.
Yeah, exactly. But no, as I said, mate. Hopefully on Friday night we end up with an hat trick, a nice, good draw in the Europa League. Couple of new signings through the door and 3 points at Kenilworth Road. That's all we can ask for. But mate, thank you very much for joining me tonight. Make sure you check out all the other content. The guys will be down at you're there Friday, right? Or are
No,
you
no, no,
watching?
we're not there. We're not there on
Oh, we couldn't
Friday.
get tickets.
But that no, we
Oh,
couldn't get tickets. There's a small allocation. We missed out, just missed
yeah,
out. But it is what it is. But we'll be out watching at home, whether you're watching in the pub or at home or Dan's watch along. We'll all be glued to the telly, watching it and
exactly.
backing the boys.
That's it, mate. But we will be back next week with loads of content. So make sure you check out the channel. If you're new here, subscribe, check out all our other videos. one thing left to say.
Come on, you on it.
Come on, you Iron.